Welcome to episode 15 in our series on Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto's The Path of the Just. And we are still getting through chapter 11, which deals with examples of the virtue of cleanliness. And in the last episode, just to remind you, we were talking about the obligation to speak the truth in all affairs. And also keeping yourself away from anybody who speaks falsehoods or tries to spread falsehoods or in any respect. And in this episode, we're going to deal with the category of Shabbos and cleanliness in the observance of Shabbos and Yom Tov. So the Ramchal begins. The observance of Shabbos and Yom Tov also demands great care, for their laws are numerous, as it is stated in Shabbos 12a. Shabbos has many laws. Even the rabbinic enactments, although they originated with the sages, are nonetheless of primary importance, as they have said in Chagiga 16b. Never take rabbinic decrees lightly, for the prohibition on Yom Tov against Samicha of laying one's hand on the head of an animal before it is sacrificed is a rabbinic decree. But nevertheless, the leading Torah figures of the generation engaged in a dispute over it. So this was actually the very, very first dispute that was discussed by the earliest Torah rabbinic figures. The halakhic authorities have clarified the specific of these laws under their various classifications, and they are all equal with respect to our obligation to observe them and the need to treat them with vigilance. I think that's supposed to highlight the fact that the rabbinic disputes and halakhic laws came about very, very close to the time of sacrifices, and that was the first dispute that was enacted over. Now the Ramchal is going to discuss how and why you must abstain from discussing on Shabbos worldly affairs and from inappropriate speech. So the Ramchal continues. What is difficult for the masses to conform to is the prohibition against work and against any discussion of business matters. This prohibition has been spelt out in the words of the prophet Yeshayahu, and it's quotes from 58 verse 13, and you shall honour it, referring to Shabbos, by abstaining from your affairs, by refraining from your wants, and by not engaging in prohibited speech. The rule is that any act which is prohibited on Shabbos may not be promoted or mentioned as well. Therefore, the sages prohibited one from inspecting his possessions in preparation for the next day, or walking on Shabbos to the outskirts of the city in order to be able to reach the bathhouse quickly after dark. This is discussed in Eruvin 38 Omid Beis. And they forbade one from saying, I will do such and such tomorrow after Shabbos. This from Tur Orach Chaim 307, or I will buy those goods tomorrow, and the like. So what is being suggested, and we're told here, is you cannot make plans on Shabbos for a weekday. You can't. It should be out of bounds, the concept of planning for the next day and actually stating facts about Motzei Shabbos, so to speak. Now the Ramchal is going to discuss cleanliness regarding all the negative commandments. So he continues, until now I have discussed those few mitzvot that we notice people stumbling over frequently, and these will serve us as a paradigm for all the other negative commandments. There is no prohibition that doesn't contain diversified and detailed aspects, some of them more stringent and some more lenient, and one who wishes to be clean must be clean and pure in all of them. And our sages of blessed memory have already said in Shir Hashirim Rabbah 6 verse 6, your teeth are like a flock of sheep, meaning that just as a sheep is modest, so was Israel modest and virtuous in the war with Midian. Rav Chuna said in the name of Rav Acha, not one of them, of those who went to war, put on the tefillin of the head before putting on the tefillin of the hand. For had anyone done so, Moshe would not have praised them, and they would not have left there in peace. Similarly, the Yerushalmi states, one who speaks between the blessing of Yishtabach and that of Yotzer has acquired a transgression for himself and must return from the battlefield. This is from Chagayot Maimonot Tefillah 7 verse 12. So you can see how much meticulousness and true cleanliness is necessary in one's conduct. Now the Ramchal is going to describe the closeness between cleanliness and character development. So the Ramchal continues, indeed, just as cleanliness is required in one's actions, it is also required in one's character development. And in fact, it is almost more difficult to apply it to one's character development than to one's actions. This is because a person's nature has a stronger effect on his character development than on his actions, due to the makeup of his temperament and personality, which can either be of great assistance or resistance to character development. Therefore, any struggle that is waged against one's natural inclinations must be very intense, as the sages of blessed memory explained, and he quotes from Pirkei Avos chapter 4, Mishnah 1, who is courageous? One who conquers his inclination. So I think we're going to pause it there, and I look forward to the next episode where we discuss 4 bad aspects or character traits in a person, which are pride, anger, envy and lust, and how we can control them.